joining us on Zoom or Facebook, and all of those that are with us in spirit. My name is Celeste Kroll. I'll be guiding us through this sacred service this morning. And there's some special things happening today, you'll see. Are there any first-time visitors here? And if there are, will you please raise your hand? All right, look at all these first-time visitors. Thank you so much. If you are willing, if you'll keep your hands raised and you're comfortable to do so, our prayer chaplain will give you a welcome packet. So you'll learn a little bit more about our church, but we're so happy to see you here today. Online visitors may see our website at unitygainesville.org. So I now invite you to stand up, if you can, and let's say our vision, mission, and core values. And they're over there, but I will also call in response. So the vision, centered in divine love and wisdom. We joyfully create a world united in positive spirituality. And the next one is mission. Through prayer, meditation, spiritual education, and service, we put God's love into action. The last one is core values. We are spirit-led. We are love. We are generosity. We are gratitude. And we are inclusivity. And you may be seated. Thank you very much. So, we've been studying the chakras, which for me has been very exciting. It's a new thing for me to learn, and I'm really happy to do it. So, the color of the third chakra is yellow. I did my best to come up with yellow, but it's not, I don't have a lot of yellow, but I made yellow jewelry. I found all my yellow stuff. All right, so the interesting thing about this chakra is it is the center of self-esteem and personal power, of honor and ethics. In many ways, this chakra is the most influential over our ability to create a happy, satisfying life. So let's say together the anchoring thought. Please repeat after me. Well, I'll say it and then you can repeat it. And it's very short. And it's by Nelson Mandela, by the way. It says, "It always seems impossible until it's done."
It always seems impossible until it's done.
When you think about it, that's true. And now we have our evocation by our minister.
Hey everybody, what's up? I said, what's up? That's what I'm talking about. Y'all, so as we know, first of all, if you're joining us for the first time, however you arrived here is a divine appointment, right? So you know how you have like a doctor's appointment, you get your eyes checked. Somehow, somewhere in your path, you were called to this space right here, right now. And we are affirming that you're here and it's perfect, in its full perfection, unfolding itself. So thank you so much for being here. So at Unity, we don't do an invocation. An invocation in the traditional space might be, come on God, we welcome your presence, we've been good, all right? We followed all the laws and we listened to the checklist. Come on God, we are ready for your presence. And then we all kind of just like, wait, and then we agree that, okay, God is here. In this space, we are affirming that God, that name, that word, is paltry. That word fails to articulate the majesty of this experience we call divinity. And so we use the word God, but we also say divine love. We say oneness. We say source. We say principle. We say love. So when we say we are love, we are affirming that we are God's articulation in this moment. So do me a favor, y'all. Look at your hands. Just look at your hands. Look at your palms. Look at your fingertips. Look at those cuticles, right? Right? Not the nail job that's needed, just right. And then I want y'all to put your hand out in front of you and just see that hand. We are affirming that this is God's articulation. How powerful is that? So when we hit the gong, I invite you to take a cleansing breath because we are affirming the truth of who we are. So we hit the gong for the first time, acknowledging that there is only love. While it might feel there is otherwise, we affirm there is only love. And so we hit the gong for that clarity. We hit the gong a second time for the reminder that just as we see in our hands, we are the articulation, the music, the unfolding of what we call God. We are the expression of that divine force. So we hit the gong for that reminder. We hit the gong a third and final time. And y'all know this already. We got what's called life. And in life, we have these little pricks, these little annoyances, right?
Yeah.
Right? We got these people who know how to get under our skin. We got this Cox bill where the internet is not working and we're like, what's going on? Right? We got these little things that happen in our experience. The printer's not working, the ink's not in there, so you name it. The one time you were trying to be there on time, all this other stuff happens, right? Conversation knowing that we are God in expression. We are light. What does it mean when we see that person as an opportunity? So we hit the gong a third and final time for the reminder of who we truly are and to take that clarity into our everyday lives. And so it is. All right, y'all, bear with us. We had internet troubleshooting issues all day yesterday and today. And so we have family and friends who are wanting to join online but are unable, so we're trying to get it worked out. So welcome to our technology day. Here at Unity, we like to celebrate, y'all. We love some hugs, and we love some birthdays and anniversaries. And so this is our opportunity to learn more about each other. If you had a birthday this week, can you kind of raise your hand, just wave it at us? Any birthday? What? Beverly? Okay. Beverly turned 26. Yes. Happy birthday, Beverly. Any other birthdays? Okay. How about anniversaries? Do we have any anniversaries in the house? Okay. Paul and Bonnie, y'all looking cute. I don't know what's going on, okay? They wearing matching purple. What y'all got going on? All right, that is love. Okay, we'll talk more about that later. Y'all look fabulous, okay? We might as well do a renewing of the vows today, okay? we also honor any milestones. So milestones show up in a lot of different ways, y'all. It could be that thing you wanted to get to and you finally did it. So just wave your hand if you had a little bit of a milestone this week. Okay, yes, 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 yes. That's right. We honor those milestones. Yes, Y'all know what it is. We celebrate those milestones, no matter how big or small. And then finally, we acknowledge that our bodies move through a lot of different journeys. And one of those journeys is the physical healing of our body temple, and is also moving through the grieving journey of having lost a loved one. Of course, that guiding principle of light is expressing itself through us. And so if we can rub our hands together, and we're going to extend our hands to those around us, because there was a lot of hands that were waving today. And we are acknowledging the truth of who we are. And I want y'all to repeat after me. We see you. We know you for who you truly are. God in expression. You are perfect. And so it is. That is what we call our oneness moment. And we got a candle for that, y'all, okay? We got a whole candle for that oneness moment. So we light this candle acknowledging the truth of who we are, and this expression of what we call unity is us, unified. And we also light the yellow candle for our solar plexus chakra, which is what we've been talking about for the past several weeks. And we will talk more about today. Welcome, y'all.
Thank you, Reverend Ryan. So I want to mention our website, unitygainesville.org. And a very important thing is our e-blast that comes out on Friday. That Star, raise your hand, Star, for all that she does. She's one of our shining stars, and we have many, many of them, but thank you so much. But if you haven't signed up for it, there is a form that you can fill out right as you go through those doors on the left-hand side. There's a form you can fill out and give it, pardon? Or you can register online at unitygainesville.org in order to get this e-blast. It has all the information you need to know about our church, all of the activities, all the things going on. I just really hope that you sign. I wait every Friday. That's where I go to know what's happening. So anyway, I hope that you do that if you haven't done it already. And before I say a couple of announcements, there's a special thing I want to say. We have many shining stars, but there's one star I want to recognize today, and that is Gary Coleman. Gary's in the back. I want to say just for a minute or so, some of the wonderful things that Gary does that you don't know about. You see all these orchids? They came from Gary. All the orchids that you see come from him. Donated. Gary, I have to say this, it was Valentine's Day. Gary donated to the New Widows orchids, which meant so much that he thought of us on that day. And how many people have noticed in the island that we've worked so hard to clean up in the parking lot, the beautiful bromeliads that are there? Raise your hand if you notice them. If you haven't seen them, you've got to. Gary put them in. They're absolutely gorgeous. There must be, I don't know, like maybe 10, 15 absolutely beautiful bromeliads there of different, how many? More to come. Absolutely gorgeous. And then there is the memorial garden that you guys don't know about. This memorial garden is over on the right-hand side, and through COVID and health problems that he wasn't able to keep up with it for a while, but he's working on renovating this beautiful memorial garden with absolutely gorgeous plants that he's put in. And that memorial garden is not only for his wife, Anne, who was a very active person here at Unity years ago in her honor, but for other people who can honor their loved ones that have passed and put plants in this garden. So he's working to renovate that as well. So we honor you, Gary, for all of the things that you have done for our church. Thank you so much. So as far as announcements, there is a very special potluck coming on Sunday, May 25th. And it'll be a surprise for some people when that potluck comes, but it's where you bring a dish, and we would really appreciate it if you would sign up ahead of time. And there's a way to sign up through eBlast or the website. That way, though, we don't have like 4 of the same dish when we could have more variety. But our potlucks are wonderful, and it's a great way to get to meet more people. Really a lot of fun. Also, and he's going to talk a little bit more about it, we're doing something really unusual. There's going to be a youth music showcase. And this is going to be on Friday, May the 30th at 7:30. Very unusual. High school bands are going to be coming here. And it's going to be a way to bring, for us to meet young people and for them to know about our church and give them an opportunity to perform in front of a group. So anyway, I'm excited about that. And we have another exciting thing that's coming. And let's see. This is a beauty project today that Gerardo is going to present. So are we going to go right into it, or is Gerardo? It's your turn. It's going to be good.
Thank you. So Hannah and I, my wife Hannah here, we create beauty and experience beauty by helping other people in loving and creative ways. And we do it both in our respective professions, but we also have for decades been mentors of children and teens at risk. And we have mentored a bunch of kids. And so in Seattle, we worked with several nonprofit organizations, Campfire USA, Community for Youth at Risk, Power of Hope, you name it. And personally, we have mentored a bunch of kids. And that brought us later on to be also adoptive parents. So our youngest child we adopted at age 9.5 from Chile, from an orphanage from my home city. When we went to get the kid, and the judge said, well, you know, this adoption was made there, because nobody adopts a kid that is older than 3 years in Chile. And he was 9.5. So that is Andre, and he works in Seattle, lives and works in Seattle. He's 29. He is working in safety for the Seattle public transportation system. So he's taking care of people, protecting people on ferry boats, on electric cars, on buses, and so on. I will come back to that. So during one of our latest men's group at Unity, I have the honor of facilitating the men's group here at Unity. And I was talking with the guys, and I said, you know, that we have a round of sharing where we share something that we have in our heart, in our mind, but we haven't really talked about with anybody else. And I shared with the guys that I really, really wanted to go back to Poland. Many of you know that I lived in Poland and I worked with Holocaust survivors in Poland for over 20 years with Holocaust survivors and their families. And they are passing and they're doing their transitions to the next level of existence. And I have only a few left, and I really would like to see them before they leave us. So I really, really want to go to Poland. But also Hannah and I, we have 2 sons and 3 grandsons in Poland that due to COVID and our relocation to Florida, we haven't seen for 6 years. And so the last time I saw my grandson, he was 10 and now he's 17. So I told the guys I really want to go, but the tickets are so extremely expensive. And so if maybe a miracle happens, and so I asked the guys, please, to pray for me so that this miracle might happen. Then I reminded them that Reverend Ryan had started here the Unexpected Income Challenge. So I said, okay, we are refocusing on that unexpected income challenge, what we do with Hannah on a regular basis, and maybe that helps us manifest a blessing. Well, blessings come in very strange ways, and unexpected incomes manifest really out of the left field sometimes. So, well, I go back to our son Andre. Turns out that he calls me and said, Dad, last year I saved 2 people's lives because I found them comatose, laying on the streets in downtown Seattle because they were overdosed with fentanyl. CPR, I called the ambulance, they came, they resuscitated them, they are doing well. And I said, I'm so proud of you, son. Amazing what you're doing. And then he called again and said, Dad, I just helped a woman, a homeless woman, give birth in an alley in downtown Seattle. And the baby landed in my uniform jacket. Because it was so cold in Seattle, I took my jacket and created a little bed. And while he was taking care of the baby, his colleague was doing CPR on the mom that went into cardiac arrest, and she was saved. So the ambulance came, and they are all doing well. And that was also there in the alley said to my son, you know, we were asking people for help, and everybody ignored us. You were the only one who, with your colleague, who listened to us. So I said to my son, oh my God, I'm so proud of you, Andre, really, really so proud. And then is when I heard something that completely melted me. He said, Dad, if you and Mom would not have adopted me from Chile, I wouldn't be alive. And he was referring to a horrible situation in Chile where 3,200 kids from orphanages under the governmental protection has disappeared, and nobody knows what happened to them. And he knows that he would have been one of those 3,200 kids who have disappeared. But then he said, Dad, if Mom and you would not have raised me the way you did, I wouldn't be saving lives. So I know it is your dream to go to Poland. I bought you the tickets. He got from his company, security company, an award for services to the public above the call of duty. And they gave him 10 days paid vacations. And he bought me the tickets, and he's coming with me for those 10 days to Poland. And then he said, I know Mom cannot come now because she is taking care of her real estate clients, but I'm going to go with Mom next year to Chile. So that's a little surprise for you. So, yes, and I wanted to share it here because it's so linked to our family, but also to our unity community. I spoke about my dream in the Unity Men's Group. I asked for the prayers of the guys to support me. Gary, you were there when I was talking. It did happen. It was the challenge for unexpected income that we started here that inspired us. And suddenly, miracles happen in very strange ways. So when I was preparing for, okay, I'm gonna go to Poland, see my Holocaust survivors, their family, my family, old friends, but what else? This is such a miracle experience. What else can I do? And then it just came. I'm gonna share with everybody in Poland about our personal experience with unity, be it in Seattle or be it here in Gainesville. But I'm not an ordained minister. I'm not a licensed unity teacher. How am I gonna talk about unity? So I just called Unity Worldwide Ministries. And I said, this is happening. I'm going to Poland. Can you give me guidance? They created for me a booklet, how to speak about unity, not being an ordained unity minister and not being a licensed unity teacher. It's a beautiful booklet that gives me all the guidelines on how to speak and how to organize a seed group, a study group. I shared it with Reverend Travis. They give me also the taglines because the realities in Europe are so different from the US that also the taglines on how to position unity are completely different. I had pictures of Andre that I wanted to share, and I had also the cover of the booklet of Unity but internet, plays its games, so it didn't happen. So it's not only I'm going to talk about unity, but also I was connected in London, who is responsible for organizing unity in the European Union. And I have had a weekly guidance mentoring session with Reverend Ildiko, who has been coaching me on how to talk about unity in Europe and sharing with me what she is doing, how she's trying to build unity in Hungary. She is from Hungary originally. In Great Britain, and we are going to be in contact when I'm going to be talking about unity in Poland. So as you see, it's very unity connected, the whole experience. I would not be able to leave my wife for 2 months alone in Gainesville if I wouldn't have you guys here. This amazing community that I ask you to keep an eye on her. I'm the extrovert in the family. Hannah is totally introvert. She's not going to ask for help even if she needs it. So please keep an eye on her. And to end my little speech, I humbly ask for your blessings for my trip to Poland. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gerardo. What a wonderful story you have. And now, I want to present Polly Robinson, who is going to give us our inspiration for the day.
I think we just had it. Thank you, Gerardo. And I can just see you thriving. Yeah. As you share your love for this path. And we know that your true path is your faith of Judaism. But we know that because of that, you've been drawn here. Because this is a place where we honor all faiths. It moves me deeply. We're calling this the inspiration of the day now. And for you that wonder what all that means, it's just that things keep evolving. The one thing you could depend on here at Unity is that we will continue to be moving and changing and evolving. It is the way of nature. It is the way of life. And indeed, it is the way that we here at Unity choose to manifest in the world. The quote that you heard from Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it's done. Children already know this. Children under the age of 7 have that unformulated mind. It's curious and creative. I remember working with my little nephew, and he used to put the stairs to bed with a blanket and a pillow because he wanted the stairs to have a good night's sleep. He also used to finish his bedtime story, and then he would go brush his teeth, and he would say goodnight to his toothbrush. And I heard him say, "Toothbrush, why don't you talk to me?" And it's because the inanimate and animate are one in a child's world. There are no boxes. No boxes. This reminded me of a study. Anderson Consulting Company, now called Accenture. They are here in Ocala and Jackson even still. It's a global consulting company. Conducted a quiz for their business managers with this first question. How do you put a giraffe in a refrigerator? 90% of the managers took the test and failed this one question. But more interesting than the failure rate is the way that they and most adults answered it. So pause, take a moment, and think, what would your answer be? How do you put a giraffe in a refrigerator? Okay, hold the thought. If your answer is something like, cut the giraffe in pieces and put it in the fridge, you are in the majority. You kill it first. Now, the study explored why this most common and popular answer appeared in adults. It's because they have a set image relationship in their mind for the words giraffe, refrigerator. And they see that the giraffe is taller than the refrigerator. So of course you have to cut it up to put it back into the refrigerator. But the question never mentioned size. As far as we know, it could have been a baby giraffe, which could fit into an industrial fridge. Or it could be a regular-sized giraffe, and it could have been an immense, gigantic refrigeration. It is our rational and experiential boundaries of the adult mind that limit our thinking. The study continued to say that 90% of the time, adults will determine that you need to kill the giraffe to get it into the fridge. They tried the same question with children under 7, and they answered it correctly. How do you put a giraffe in the fridge? Open the door. Put the giraffe in like you would a bottle of milk.
If we can all stand and get in the circle, we're going to do a special prayer. Yeah, let's circle up. We love circles here at Unity. We're going to get the blood flowing. Jackie, if I can get you in the middle. Let's see. Celeste, can you stand in for Laurie? Terry? I know Terry's in trouble. Gerardo. Okay. Now, if there's any of us who is moving through a journey where, you know what, I could use some special prayer, this is an open invitation to please join. Okay. Celeste, we all know Celeste, she was just speaking. So Celeste, oh, come on in, come on in. Celeste is standing in for Laurie. So Laurie's husband fell off of a ladder this week, and he had a serious injury. And so Laurie's unable to be here, and so Celeste is standing in for Laurie and her husband. And Jackie's brother tomorrow is going to have open heart surgery. And so Jackie is standing in for her brother and herself, who is going to be moving through surgery this week as well. And then the rest of us, we are gathered for this intentional prayer as Gerardo moves on his sacred journey, and the rest of us move on our path as well. So if I could ask us on the outer circle just to take a cleansing breath. That breath is just simply a reset. That reset we have access to all day long. And in this moment, we just did a reset. And so I'm inviting those in the inner circle to take a cleansing breath. And we use the word cleansing, acknowledging that that breath is wiping clean all of the thoughts, the expectations, the rational thinking, that this is how it needs to go, the control. That breath is cleansing our body temple for this moment. And so if it's your practice, I invite you to close your outer eye, and we are joining in prayer. And here in this space, we affirm that prayer is simply the thoughts that we recycle. Prayer is a simple utterance of what we know is true. And so in this moment, we affirm that those in this circle are lifted and loved and enveloped in love. That they are reminded that they are love in expression, just as they are. And all the many people that they are now representing, be it themselves, be it family, be it friends, be it loved ones, that they are lifted and enveloped and raptured in perfect peace. And we affirm in this moment that all is well. Not one day, not when this thing happens, but now. Because divine expression moves past what we think is the next step. We affirm it as so. I'm going to ask everybody on the outside to just simply extend your hands to those in the middle of this circle. And I want y'all to know, not imagine, not to imagine, but to know that your love is extending through your hands to those in front of us. And we're just going to allow this moment of silence, and we're just going to send love. Yes, baby. We're going to send love to this circle. And let's breathe. Now, can we say on the outside, it is done? And here's the key, y'all. It's like candy paper. You got the candy, it's done. It's done. Can we say it together? It's done. It's done, y'all. We love you. Thank you so much, everybody.
These are some words from James Dillett Freeman that I put to music. It's a sweet little poem called God is Truth. I asked God, what is faith? And God replied, dear child, know I am walking by your side. I asked God, what is prayer? And God said, pray. As to the prayers you say, let your heart show the way. I asked God, what is God? What is God? And God was still. But in my heart I felt myself begin to melt. Beyond all words and thought, myself became one with the truth I sought. God's heart, my mind, God's mind, my will, God's will. God did not have to speak. God is the truth we find, whether or not we seek. Listen, listen. Listen, he's there in the air. if you listen. Thank you.
All right, y'all. I hope you know that when we were praying, the baby, she had her hand extended too. She was blessing us. We trying to pray, and she like, I got this, y'all. Okay, so as many of you know, in our chakra series, we've had a wonderful opportunity to break up our format. And so the first time we did this was for the root chakra, and then we did it for the sacral chakra, and here we are now for the solar plexus chakra. And so our hope is that by having these conversations, we can reinforce and articulate in a different way how we come to these spiritual truths. How you doing today?
I'm in the flow.
This is Reverend Marcy, everybody. Reverend Marcy.
I am in the flow.
I got a
Yeah.
softball question for you.
Sure.
When you think about the solar plexus, what comes up for you as right there on the surface in terms of this is what this means to me?
So funny you should ask. I have props today.
Yes, yes.
This is what comes up for me. The solar plexus demands that we get really good at flipping the lens that we look through. And you can't make this stuff up, right? We had no discussion about this, as you know. So for me, the solar plexus is like, it's kind of like a do or die sort of place. And just to give a quick synopsis, if you've missed any of our talks, we've been looking at the chakras in a very different way. The root chakra, yes, it's about survival and all of that, but it's also this place where the energy originates, right, for our, our creations. And so our awareness actually begins to grow there based on what our roots are clinging to and whether or not it's going to give that sacral chakra what it needs to create what you're saying that you want. And if you remember correctly, those of you were, I used the analogy of the sperm and the egg, right? And we used to believe that the egg just got bombarded with all these sperm, and it was like the best man wins. And that's not the case. She sort of sits there, waits, sees everything that comes towards her and says, you'll do. So she actually selects the sperm that comes in. Now, if you haven't done your work in the root chakra, that sperm is not going to be able to give her everything that she needs in order to create. So that has already taken place. And now we come into the solar plexus, and that chakra is meant for you to be able to discern whether or not the energy that is coming through that system is going to be able to enter the heart. And whether or not the heart then is able to create from its highest frequency, or if that work has not been done, what we know about the heart, and we'll talk about it more next month, but you're not feeding it the energy that it needs in order for you to get the result that you're looking for. So the solar plexus, I actually had an incredible experience where I came to learn what it was really all about that I want to share with you. I love sharing my stories with you. If you don't mind, indulge me. But as you know, I had been traveling all over the world with my products, been on, excuse me, been, on this whirlwind tour. And I'm going to tell you, I was exhausted, absolutely exhausted. I had been attending all these conferences, speaking, and I'd get back to my vendor's table, excuse me, and, it'd be 5 people deep, and everybody wanted me to talk about it, and I would start to lose my voice. And I was so exhausted, and I just started to say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And so when I went in and really asked myself, well, what do you want to do? I love teaching, and so I said, well, you know what? I love to travel the world. I'm going to start a retreat business. And so I moved to Thailand, and I started, excuse me, setting up. I started to set up my business, got all the bits and pieces together, and the thought was to come back to the States a few months out of the year. Thank you so much. And to live in Thailand and have people come there for retreats. And I had all these people lined up and everything, and I started to realize, as much as I loved Thailand, I didn't feel well. I didn't feel well being there. I loved so many things about it, but it was so hot, I couldn't leave my apartment after 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And then I wouldn't be, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's what abundance looks like.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So I wasn't feeling well, and I realized it had to do with the heat. And so I decided, all right, well, I have all of this set up. I'm going to go back to the States and explore having somebody else take it over. I got back to the States, and all the while, I have this fulfillment center that's piled high with all my products that I'm now not selling, right? Except for the orders that were coming in from shops and coaches and things like that. I wasn't actively engaged in selling them. So the entire time that I was in Thailand, I was thinking, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. I just wish someone would take them off my hands. Just take them off my hands. The weight of them was unbearable. And so when I got back to the States, I, went to call the fulfillment center. And my thought is that I would look for agents to sell my products. I had a few, but I was going to, push it up. But I knew I didn't want to travel with them anymore. There was no answer. Thought that's so strange. So I called my assistant, who was still living on Long Island at the time, and I said, have you been in touch with our fulfillment center? And she said, not really, I haven't heard anything from them recently. And I said, do me a favor, try to reach them. And she did. No answer. And she tried and tried, still no answer. I said, okay. I flew to Long Island, and together we went to the fulfillment center. It was empty. It was dark. There was nothing and no one there. Went around to, it was in an industrial park, so we went all around to all the other companies. What happened to them? What happened to them? What happened? Nobody knew anything. Or they weren't talking, one or the other. No information. So I went back to, I was actually living in Sedona at the time. I went back to Sedona. I said, okay, I have to take a good look at this. And of course, everybody is saying, well, you've got to contact a lawyer, right? I called my insurance company. They wouldn't cover it because the company was closed, right? So I remember sitting in the quiet and thinking to myself, all right, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of your products are gone. And nowhere inside of me could I feel this anger that I needed. And so I tried to rev myself up, okay? Oh, how could they do that? How could they? And every time I tried to go there, all I felt was this concern because this was a family-run business. It was the mother and father and their 2 kids and their children that were there all the time. And I kept thinking something had to have happened. They're not the people who are just going to close up their company in the middle of the night and take off. And then I'd say, oh, but hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I still couldn't find the anger that I needed in order to take that forward. And so I decided that I needed to just really tune into my truth. And the truth was, I had found the perfect match. They had done exactly what I asked them to do. Had no idea where those products were. But what I noticed is that when I started to visualize them being transferred to other people who would sell them, I actually felt peaceful. And I said to myself, damn, you're good. You are good. And every single time I went into the truth of all of that, what was missing was any need to sue them or any need for them to pay, right? And instead, I found this concern for them. And then through the grapevine, I found out that their son had been killed. And I was so at peace that I had never pursued it. And it was then that I realized how empowered I felt. Because the truth was, all that money that I had put into the manufacturing and fulfillment of all those products, it was already spent. It was already gone. It wasn't in my bank account. And so the fight had to be based on the potential to sell them. I had really, that was illusion. I didn't know how they'd be sold. All I knew is that in most cases, I was the one who had to do the selling, and I didn't want to do it. And I thought, oh my God, this is divine.
It's so much that is in that story. Thank you for sharing. And it's so powerful because what the solar plexus is, it's the thing that we all have access to. It's like our decision making, it's our ego, and it's also the intensity of desire meets manifestation. So your desire was so intense that the universe organized itself and said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I often talk about how important our words are, but I think even more important than our words is the vibration that we hold on to. And Carla spoke about this in one of her talks, which was we have to be mindful of what affects us, because what that means is of that thing that's affecting us, right? So if we're annoyed because of a person's whatever, we are on the same frequency of that annoyance. However, if we hold a higher vibration, that is like a little pigeon trying to throw a rock at an eagle. It's like, what you doing, right? And so it's so much in that our desire, we have to be mindful of where it's guiding us, and is that desire divinely inspired?
Yeah.
Because we're always manifesting, always.
24/7.
24/7, always manifesting. And so what you're saying is so potent, and it's a reminder that even when it's not the outcome we actually want, it is the universe wants to answer our call. This all-allowing, loving force we call God wants us to have whatever it is we desire.
That's right.
And your desire was, I want to be done with this.
I want to be done. I want somebody else to take it off my hands.
And it happened in
And
perfection.
It happened. Boom.
Just like that.
Just like that. Perfect match. And the other thing is that, you know, what I realized is as I was in my process and how if I had taken my prompts from the outside, I would have suffered terribly. Those prompts were to be angry. Those prompts were to be, you know, betrayed. Those prompts were all to be outraged. Litigation. But I couldn't feel it, and I had to keep going in and reinforcing that. And so what I realized is that these places within us, and that solar plexus especially, these places where the ego wants to clutch on, right, and say, you know, blah, 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 and, or the other part of it was, you know, I would start to feel myself, how could you be so careless? How could you had to know that something like that was going to happen. How could you just do this, do that? And the moment I would put my light into those nooks and crannies, what was there was truth. It was all good. It was all good. No matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried to really conjure up what I needed for that fight, it wasn't there. It was not there. And instead, what was there was compassion for the family, and I didn't even know why. But that's all that was there. I wanted to embrace them, and I almost wanted to find them just to tell them. Never found them. I have no idea where they went, but I can tell you this, that I'm so at peace with that. And then what do you think the universe did? The universe said, hey, Marcy, how about this, honey? How about that? How about this? How about that? What do you want to do? And just like that, the flip of a lens, and the whole world shifted, and I had a new playground. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to be landing the plane
Yeah, we
pretty
have
soon.
to.
We got to.
We have so much going on
Right?
here today.
We
it was
had
wonderful.
such a full experience today.
Yeah.
And what I love about our time is we always want to leave us wanting more. So if we ever leave here thinking, oh, okay, I had enough, we want to always feel like we're
right.
leaving more. So if you can give, before we move into our mini meditation, if you could give us a take-home message in terms of, as we're trying to discern the potency of our decision-making and what that means for our solar plexus, what can be our takeaway message from what you just shared?
Yeah. So as we've been talking about, the energy of the solar plexus is described as yellow. But the truth of the matter is, when you reach that place of divinity, it turns to gold. And that's when, oh, I just got God bumps. That's when all roads are paved of gold. And that's when we leap into the heart, and you're already there. So that gold is always in your peripheral vision, and we bring it to the forefront as we seek out our truth. Not the truth that others want you to believe, not the truth of the programming and the conditioning, the truth of the energy of the Father God, Mother God, that is here in our solar plexus saying, hey, how are you going to shine today? And that's it. always seek your truth. That's what the solar plexus is there for.
Thank you so much, Marcy. I want to thank you so much for all that you've done for our community. Just take a glance at our gathering room. We've been moving through visualization workshops and manifestation workshops and just all the behind the scenes that you've given that many of us don't know about. But thank you so much for all you've done
Yeah.
for us. And it continues. We got more to go.
It's my joy. And of course, I cannot come here without a gift. I brought you your own set of lenses.
Yes! All right. I'm styling and profiling. Y'all better watch out.
And get accustomed to flipping your lens.
That's right. That's right. We should put this on our vision board. Say, listen, y'all. Okay, we too cool for school. So if we can move through a mini meditation, and Kathy, if you can play us some soft music, and then we'll do a little meditation, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah. You want-
Sure.
You want me?
Yeah, I can do it. So if it's your practice to close your outer eye and just take a cleansing breath. We're going to allow our seat to fully support us because it does it effortlessly. And whatever thoughts may come, we're going to see them as clouds just floating in the abyss of blue. And we are here. We are here. We honor this stillness, our sacred space. And it's in this space that we affirm the truth of who we are and the power we have at our fingertips. Yes, baby. We affirm that in this moment, we are exactly where we're supposed to be. Our life journey, our experiences, our love and setback, our triumph and heartbreak, all culminate to this precise, perfect moment. And we honor it as all love. And we affirm the choices that we make come from this space of stillness and the ability to discern our mind to this presence. We radiate gratitude and joy and laughter, knowing who we are, who we truly are. When you take this next breath, I want you to breathe in all this truth, all this love, all this grace, all this forgiveness of self, all this abundance and prosperity. We're going to breathe it in and breathe it out and be raptured in that truth. That all is well now, 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 now. Whenever you're ready, I want you to open your outer eye, but I want you to see different. See different. See these not as people, but as articulations of the divine. Feel your body not as muscle and bone, but as articulation of perfection, just as we are. Just as we are. And so it is. And so it is. We're shifting into our giving. And I say shifting because we want to take this pocket of grace as we prepare our seed. Because our giving is a seed that we are planting in fertile soil. Whatever that is, whatever our financial gift is, our spiritual gift, our time gift, we're going to bless this seed. So if you can take your offering, whatever it is, and place it over your heart. And in a few weeks, we're going to talk about the symbolism and sacredness of this heart space. And repeat after me. I take this offering and plant it in the fertile soil, which we call Unity of Gainesville. We bless and expect its full return in grace and perfect ways. And so it is.
Well, Mother's Day is coming, and the kids are coming soon.
That's
so
right. Let's get ready for the kiddos. Sure.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Oh, I was going to say we had one more, but there he is.
Wow, what a big group.
We have grown by leaps and bounds.
Ooh, find it.
And when I say leaps and bounds, that's what they've been doing. And we have new friends today. Kaya, and tell them your name. What's your name again? He's going to play the guessing game. We're going to call him the unknown kid. And Tristan is here too. And today we talked about our power of power. And we read a book about a little beaver that he was so sad and he needed a friend. And he was crying. And he said, I need a friend. And he heard, I need a friend. And he found out he had an echo. But in the meantime of finding out, okay, sit down. He made a friend with a turtle, a duck, and what was the other one? An otter, that's right. And we found out we have the power, whatever we send out comes back to us, just like that echo did for Little Beaver. So if we send out a smile, we're going to get a smile back. I told him I was pushing my buggy in the grocery store, and somebody said, what's a buggy? Now I have to say cart. And I said, I try to do that. If somebody looks at me, I try to smile, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a smile back.
Thank you so much, Miss Glenn. I wish y'all could see this from my perspective. This is incredible. I gotta repeat, y'all, there was a time when Miss Gwen had these little velvet cutouts as a symbol of kids. And we would bless the symbolic kids and say, one day we're gonna have kids. Now we're close to a dozen. I mean, packed. This is incredible. Yes, baby. So what we do at Unity, we bless our kiddos. So if we can stand. And I want us to imagine the children in front of us, our nieces and nephews and grandkids and neighbors and all the other kids in our lives. And we're going to extend our hands and say, children, you are perfect just the way you are. You are perfect just the way you are. The divine, out-picturing of source. Everything you desire is yours. Because you and God are one. Because you and God are one. We love you, we love you, we really, really love you. Okay, y'all, let's circle up.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
All right, Miss Gwen, help me out. The light of God surrounds us. We are light. The love of God enfolds us. We are love. The power? The power of God protects us. We are power. Presence? The presence of God watches over us. We are presence. Wherever we are, God is. And guess what, y'all? We are divine, and all is well. All right, everybody. Usually at this point in service, we would look at the cameras and wave at our loved ones who aren't here, but the cameras aren't working. So what I want us to do, the cameras are working, they're live. Okay, let's look at that. We love you. We can't wait to wrap our arms around you. All right, y'all, have a good week.
Mother's Day is coming. So I'm going to play my Mother's Day song. Everybody's somebody's child. Everybody's had someone who gave them their first smile. Everybody's been rocked to sleep, had to be taught how to use their feet. Everybody's somebody's child.